love it. The calls.
You'll eventually get the 20% back. That Silver Connect card is going to pay her co-payments. Remicade, I believe, is an injectable, and her hospitalization co-payments. And tell them to turn his Part B on. Okay, Producer Tom gives me the cue. Producer Nick, good to see you in the studio. Producer Tom, it is 12/12/12. Wednesday, the 12th of December, 2012. This is Michael Regan. The show is called Medicare and You. And my buddy called me Dorkhead yesterday. I loved it. That means we're friends. Okay, so the season is over. It was a fantastic annual election period. Some people refer to it as open enrollment. We refer to it as AEP. If you can't hear me, I'm a little tired. I was going 7 days a week there, and I cannot thank all of my new clients enough for listening to the show. First of all, MJ, my buddy, said yesterday, yeah, we listened to the show. Dr. Pizzuto, can't thank you enough either. I heard you gave me a nice little plug. I don't know how this is happening and why, but I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. We're going to have a typical show today, Medicare and You. We're going to have our Mattatuck Minute. We're going to go over what happens now that the season has ended for Medicare. Anyone needs a call-in question, just simply call 203-757-1320. We'll take your calls. You're going to have questions. It's been a landslide of applications and changes. I'm going to have a very intelligent and affluent, by the way, for the listeners out there. He won't brag, but he really kicks butt for himself. A friend of mine and colleague, Brian Garity, calling in from his Boston office, touching base on basically what happened if you made a change with Medicare. So let's roll right along, get the phones lit up, and let's have our Mattatuck Minute. Michael Regan, Stephanie, how you doing?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good. No complaints. Thank you so much for patiently waiting. I guess we have a lot of commercials today, so our start time usually is 1:06, but I'm sorry to keep you holding.
Not a problem.
Nice. Good to hear your voice.
You too.
Okay,
Glad
so
to hear that your season went well too.
Oh, I cannot tell you. They came and they waited in line like it was Sally's Pizza, or don't let me offend anyone, Pepe's Pizza, if that's your choice. I like modern pizza myself. Billy's a good buddy of mine. Wow, he's right on time, this guy. Okay, so let's have a Mattatuck Minute. How you doing?
We're doing great over here.
Okay.
I actually today wanted to just remind all of the parents and grandparents who are listening that while the kids are out of school, the museum is a wonderful place to visit and to take them for the day.
Oh, great place. Good, safe parking. It's right on the green. They can shop around. What's a minimum donation they should at least think about if they bring the family?
If you're coming, we ask for $5 for adults and $4 for seniors, and all the kids under 16 are of course free. So it would be a minimal payment, and you'd have a full day of enjoyment here at the museum. We've got all of the exhibits are up. We've got the trees decorated on the first floor. It looks beautiful this time of year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you had a concert last Thursday. How'd that go? That wonderful, beautiful woman from Philadelphia, it looked like she was from.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a wonderful concert. It was Gina Cecilia.
Yep.
She's a vocalist, and it was great. It was the same night as the Dave Brubeck what turned into tribute over at the Palace. But we had a great turnout. We had over 50 people here at the museum as well.
Good.
So it was a great night.
All right. And everyone at the museum hopefully is expecting the enrollment to go up, because a gift of museum membership would be a fantastic gift for Christmas.
Absolutely. This time of year, this season of giving, the holidays, we would love to have everyone consider giving the gift of membership instead of going out and buying a gift. Consider consider membership to the museum as something to give to your loved one.
Well, especially for my listening age bracket, they have everything. They've lived their lives to the fullest. Usually, and I'll say it to my wife, if I want something, honestly, at age 42, I buy it for myself during the year. So what could I get my father, who's in his 70s? The beautiful gift of membership. He could take a friend of his. They could go, he and she can go together, check out the exhibits. We have art for everyone, I think, running through February, correct?
Absolutely. February 3rd, it's up. It's a beautiful exhibit. It's colorful. It's vibrant. It's a wonderful thing for people to come and see.
Right. All right. And what other exhibits do you have up?
Currently, we've got the Waterbury Symphony celebration on the first floor.
Magnificent. I went to that grand opening, and it was really well attended.
It was beautifully attended, and we had 4 different exhibits opening that night. So the museum was packed. People were, walking throughout the 3 floors, looking at everything that we've got open. So it was a great evening. My
colleagues and I had a board meeting before too. I really liked the timing of it. How it was just such a nice flow. We went from the board meeting right to having a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
So. All right, that's Stephanie Harris. That's our Mattatuck Minute. Thank you very much for your time. Always remember, the gift of art at the Mattatuck Museum is a good idea for Christmas, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, whatever your need is. Happy holidays.
Absolutely. Happy holidays to you guys.
You have a good one.
You too.
All right,
bye.
good. Producer Tom, you're saying that I've got my awesome guest on hold. Okay, this is Michael Regan. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, Brian. Great to hear your voice. I gave you a little plug today. If you and your staff want to listen, you simply can just go to www.watr.com, and there's a listen live button right on the right. Brian, I really consider an expert in the field. He and his partner Mark own Garity Advantage, and I reached out to his staff. By the way, they are phenomenal. I cannot compliment you enough on Heidi, Karen, Robin, of course. I mean, your staff is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
It's really my pleasure to have you as a friend and a colleague. We work well together, and it's nice because we've grown to be friends, and I really trust you on things like this.
Well, I feel this, for all of your listeners out there, I should let you know. First of all, Michael, I want to say thank you, and wow, what an incredible job you did for all of your clients and associates in Connecticut and throughout the region. You've just done an incredible job, not only during this last open enrollment period, but really throughout the year. You've really been just a phenomenal resource and assistance to all of your clients. We get incredibly favorable reviews from everybody you meet with. And I besides obviously the number of people that you've helped, which is, partly in any sales business, probably how we measure people, just the way that you approach your clients, your whole organization and staff, and the level of service you provide is just really phenomenal. I just want to call out to you and to your listeners just how exceptional what you do really is.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you something, though, Michael. Don't you love this business? Don't you love what we do with the people that we help?
It's to be honest with you, I'm kind of smiling. I don't even consider the money I'm making. It's a nice small amount of money, but the help is a lot more. I've got a caller calling in at 1:30. I talked to him today, and my producer Nick checked on it before we went live today. He's like, "You took care of that guy, right?" And yeah, so you really help people. And in this particular industry, it's hard to trust people. I associate myself just like the Shaker family. The Shaker family has been running a large car dealership for such a long time in the area. It's just known that they're going to do the right thing. They're honest. They're ethical. And you feel comfortable. When you're buying insurance, you have to trust the person you're dealing with. It really is a product that you need to know that they're looking out for your best interest, not just their wallet. And I think that the product is priced right, especially with the Medicare Advantage plans, that it's not a sticker shock. If you're going to take an Advantage or a supplement, they are both affordable and in people's price range. So the reason I have you on and being the expert, especially in New England, is many people have just made a change. So if you could slowly tell my listeners, they hear me all the time. Sometimes it's nice to hear it from an outside source. We'll go right down the list. What if they made a change to their Medicare plan? Must they make sure they do before December 31st?
That's an excellent question, and the answer really depends a lot on what changes they made and what plans they're on now. Let me go through the list for you.
Take your time, nice and slowly. You've got until 1:40 your airtime, so take your time.
Okay. I'll talk very slowly then.
Well, no worries, because there's a lot of topics. We're going to also speak about the special election period opportunity, because there is a plan that got canceled in the state of Connecticut, and it was an Anthem L PPO. So we'll discuss that next.
Okay. So for as your listeners probably know, not only did we have a huge amount of plan changes and people making decisions in Connecticut, but really nationwide, there are literally millions of people who have enrolled in a new plan nationwide. Whether it be moving from a Medicare Advantage to a Medicare Sup, or just within Sup to Med Sup, or Medicare Advantage to Medicare Advantage.
Right.
Here's the rules as far as what they need to know and what they need.
This is a good time oldies show. Slow down a little bit, bud.
Sure. The easiest change is if somebody has been on a Medicare Advantage plan, an HMO, a PPO, or even a private fee-for-service, and then change to another Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
In that situation, the new enrollment in a new plan will notify Medicare, the government that controls Medicare, that you've chosen a new plan, and you do not have to reach out to your old plan to tell them that you're leaving, because the way that Medicare is set up is your name has one nest. You can only be in one Medicare plan at a time. So they take care of notifying the old plan for you. The new enrollment comes in and notifies the old company that you've left.
Right.
Medicare supplement, though, doesn't go to federal government. It is just a contract between you and the insurance company. You're on Medicare A and Medicare B, and you buy a Medicare supplement. So in that case, if you're on Medicare one company and you change to a Medicare supplement with another company, once you have your cards and your enrollments and you know that you're in force, it's up to you to verify the old company that you've left. You will continue to receive bills, and if you're on an automatic check-o-matic plan, they may continue to bill you, not knowing that you've enrolled in another plan.
Okay.
So, Michael, in those situations,
hold on a second.
we've helped.
You're fading. Go to an area with your cell phone that you're getting good bars. You're fading in and out. What?
I'm so sorry about that. I'll stand over here closer to the window.
No problem. Oh, of course.
It's a long way from Boston.
Brian is referring to, for those of you out there listening, if you had a Medicare supplement with a premium, Plan N, Plan F, Plan J, and you changed your supplement, Anthem and United Healthcare are the two I sell, and United Healthcare gave a whopper of a rate increase on people with a Plan C. So some of those people migrated to a Plan F, as in Frank Morrow. So when you went from C to F, it was seamless. But if you changed companies, Brian, what do they need to do?
They need to reach out to the old company that they've left, and either by phone or by fax or letter notifying that they're terminating, that the consumer wishes to terminate the health plan.
Okay,
you
listeners out there, the agent can't do this for you. You need to be proactive and get on the phone now and say, thank you very much for your service. I changed from Anthem to United, or from United to Anthem, or there was one lovely lady way up in Goshen that I've never even heard of her Medicare supplement. It was like Continental or Combined or something. But you need to reach out to your new supplement company, confirm that they have your enrollment, and then once you've confirmed it, you need to cancel your old supplement. Correct, Brian?
That is correct. And if you don't do that, what could happen is you will continue to be billed, and especially if you're on a automatic check deduction, they will continue to automatically deduct premium because they don't know that you have a new plan.
Right.
So that's what's important about that. And of course, with we'll talk about Medicare Advantage in a minute, but with all you've done to do this so early, most people will have their welcome letters from the new company in time to make that phone call. Of course, you want to be sure you're in place with the new company
right
before you cancel the old one. You always want to do that.
Absolutely.
So if I could, let me change from Medicare Supplement, when you're changing from Medicare Supplement to Medicare Supplement, to talk about the other side. If you were on a Medicare Supplement and you enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, and you know better which types of plans you enrolled people in Connecticut.
Okay.
If you're on, for instance, the United Healthcare or an Aetna HMO or a PPO, if you were previously on a Medicare Supplement,
okay,
you do need to go back and tell that Medicare Supplement plan that you've left.
Right.
Now, the government knows if you're on a Medicare Supplement, most people have also a standalone Part D plan.
A prescription drug plan, my consumers out there.
Right. So if just as I said before, the federal government has one slot with your name in it for the Part D plan. When you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that includes Part D, it kicks out that Part D plan and it notifies the old Part D plan that's left. But if you had a Medicare Supplement on top of that, you do need to do that outreach and cancel the Medicare Supplement yourself, because again, they won't know. The government doesn't know them. They don't even. The government doesn't track what private insurance you have outside of the Medicare program.
Okay, excellent.
So that's number two. We have Medicare Sup to Med Sup, Medicare Sup to Medicare Advantage. Those two you do need to notify. But the good news is, if you're moving from one Medicare Advantage plan to another, you really don't need to do anything as far as notifying the old plan.
No. CMS will just have it mapped over, and it'll be up online. And if you don't have an agent that you bought through and you just did it, you can always call 1-800-633-4227. That's 1-800-MEDICARE. 1-800-633-4227. And you can literally just go through the prompts. You give them your Social Security number plus an A, a D, a B, a T, whatever their initial is after. You give them your date of birth, and then it will tell you what plan that they have right on a recording. It'll tell you what they have on file for you.
It's an excellent resource, and of course, it's a lot easier if you have Michael doing that for you. But if you're not, if you were going it alone out there or working with an agent who may not have that level of service, then you can always get those answers yourself. But generally speaking, Michael, with the as you know, this annual election period or open enrollment period was shifted back last year and the same this year to end on December 7th. It's really been though it's harder for people to wake up and know that they have to make a decision. It's hard for people to realize the decision time has come. Now that we're done with enrolling so many people, there's plenty of time for them to get their ID cards. There's not a rush, as you recall. Boy, wasn't that terrible in the last few years when people would switch on midnight on New Year's Eve, and then
it happened. It actually happened. 5 o'clock, we're leaving. It's 12/31, 2010, and the woman calls up and she's like, "I have to pick a plan." Oh, Barbara, I'll never forget that. But what a lovely woman she is, and she's loyal. She's been with me for 4 years now, 3 years, so it was worth it. Brian?
One good thing the government has done here is they've given us that time. So now your clients who are listening, you've enrolled them in a plan. We got all those enrollments done last week, and they'll be receiving their cards in plenty of time, and the government will take care of the change from one plan to the other. We just eliminated all that last-minute confusion, which is great. Just great.
Okay, Brian, you are so popular. The board is lit up here. We have questions for you. My callers want to ask you questions. We're going to put you on, we're going to join you guys in with a conference call. One moment, Brian. Caller on line 1. This is Medicare and You. You have Brian Garity and Michael Regan. How can we help you? Caller on line 1, Michael Regan. Tommy, we lost him? All right, caller on line 1. Call back, Brian. Would love to field some calls here. Good job on that, passing through. All right, we did have a caller on line 1. Please call back, 203-757-1320. We'll cue you right back in. Okay, so what about a prescription drug plan to a prescription drug plan, Brian? There he is. There he is.
We got our question, okay?
Yeah, transfer it in. We have a question. Well done. Way to call back in. Michael Regan, how can I help you?
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Mike, this is your friend that doesn't see well. All he sees is shadows.
Producer Nick. The
Excuse me?
Who you made sure. My producer comes in the studio. He goes, "You took care of that guy, right?" I go, "Yes,
Mike,
I did."
Yeah, Mike, you were great, Michael. You must have put in 12 to 15 hours pro bono on my case alone. Your staff, Angela, Kristen, Gina, and the rest of them, and Heather from the
Agency on Aging. She's great.
They couldn't be better. Michael, you did what you said you were going to do. You did it pro bono. You worked many hours. We had conversations after 8 o'clock at night. You're the man, Mike. You walked me back from the edge. You know, I was so nervous over that, you know, that I wasn't going to have insurance and everything. Man, I just can't say enough good things about you. And you were great, Mike, and I'm happy with the plan I have. And I just can't say enough good things about you, Michael. And you did it all pro bono and many hours. And man, you got to get reunited with your family because, like I said, we had conversations after 8 o'clock at night over this, you know, and you knew I was worried about it.
Yeah.
And you really took best care of me, Michael. And you're very effective and genuine. Your staff also.
You were so nice to call in on the show. And first of all, let me apologize on the air again. Brian, the gentleman calls in. He describes himself. He says, well, I'm blind, and I've lost my prescription drug plan. And then my response is, well, can you drive over to the agency? I can help you. I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking. So, Brian, I did my homework, and I found out that the gentleman qualified for the Medicare Savings Program. So in the state of Connecticut, some of the benchmark plans were canceled. United American canceled theirs, Cigna canceled theirs, Health Net Orange canceled theirs. So there were some clients out there that didn't need me to sell them something, or else I would have hurt their whole Title 19 situation. But I reached out to my colleagues at the Agency on Aging, and I said, you know, we need to help this gentleman. So on December 7th, we all during the week, we found the best one. We ran his scripts, and I am happy to say I didn't sell him anything. I did it out of the kindness of my heart because that's the way my parents raised me, to be good to people, not just always be greedy and want money. And it makes me feel good that you're calling in on the radio show with one of my admired colleagues, Brian Garity, and he can hear that, you know, there are sometimes a good person out there that cares.
Mike, I was so nervous about this, you know, because I kept, you know, we had the conversation. You were saying, you said, calm down, relax. I'm going to, you know, do this, and you did everything you said you were going to do, Michael. You're great. You're the real deal, man.
I appreciate it.
You are. And, Michael, God bless you, your family, your staff, everyone, man, that came in contact, everyone, man, you know.
You nailed it. It was actually, it was Jean, not Gina, but it was Jean, Kristen, and Angela. They knocked it out of the park. I got to also admit, Jessica did a pretty good job answering the phone calls when they were just coming in out of pandemonium. So you're a good man. I'm glad you're in a good place. I will see you soon. I'll bring us a pizza, and we'll just have some laughs after January.
Mike, I'm not that far from you when you're at the museum.
I work out at the Y, and I go to the museum all the time, so I'll just walk over.
I'm a jump. Yeah. All right. Throw a rock and hit it.
Rich, God bless. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you very, very, very much, Michael.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See ya. Or Happy Hanukkah if I missed it. Maybe it didn't get his... But I think with the EO at the end of his last name, it might have been a Paisan there. All right, so Brian, we've got callers holding for you, but let's just continue to talk because it's hard to get your time. What happens if a member goes from a prescription drug plan to a prescription drug plan? Just change their PDP.
They don't need to do anything themselves. That's just like the Medicare Advantage that gets changed internally by the government. So you don't need to do anything.
So anyone who changed, because United Healthcare introduced this very low-cost $15 drug plan, so some of my people out there that don't take script and hate Part D, they changed to that. CMS will just make sure they map that over. Let's talk about next, what is this special election period? And the dates for that, I think it runs out on February 28th, correct?
That's correct. And there's two important points to this. So there were in certain states like Connecticut, but also some in Connecticut, but also Anthem in Indiana and Ohio and Georgia and a few other states where they were big, had some plan changes, as most companies do, but they also terminated some plans.
Right.
Your health plan completely terminated. You not only had your chance to enroll in a new plan during the annual election period we were just talking about, you have an extra period to make a change, and that's called a special election period. And you're right, Michael. In those situations, the special election period continues until February 28th. If you don't do anything before January 1st, your plan ends. You will revert back to original Medicare A and B on January 28th with all of the associated deductibles and copays that most people try to avoid. So you don't want to leave it till February 28th, but you have that chance to make another change. And the other important thing, Michael, that people don't realize is that because it's created what's called a special election period, you can actually make two changes. Even if you were on a plan that terminated and you changed during your annual election period and selected a new plan, you still have a special election period to change it. Now, we've this. It's not has the same interpretation of it, but from what we've gotten from the federal government, people who are on a terminated plan, even if they made a change for their annual election period, they still are entitled to an extra period change. They could change again if they so chose.
Okay, so are you listeners getting this? It's hard to get an intelligent gentleman like this guy. And all right, so nice and slowly, just reiterate it one more time, because there's got to be someone out there that's in this situation.
Well, yes, there was approximately 7,000 affected members in Connecticut this year. Connecticut alone, and again, we work in a large number of states. But for those 7,000 people, they have until February 28th to choose a new plan.
Okay.
Even if they just chose a plan like everybody else does during the annual election period that uses the government keeps track of how many choices you can make.
Right.
So everybody's allowed once a year during the annual election period. People who were terminated, their plan terminated, get an extra one. An extra one lasts until February 28th.
Instead of the traditional MADP that stops February 14th.
Yeah, that's another whole discussion.
We're going to go over that one last. So you keep going. We're going to do that one last.
So what I just said addresses only to people, not any Anthem plan, but the specific plans that were terminated. If you received a notification saying your plan's terminated, you have to choose a new plan, you have an extra election period, an extra chance to make a choice. And I strongly encourage you to talk with Michael and make sure you get this grace period. Double check, make sure you're in the right plan for you, because if you didn't make a choice, you really do need to do something. And if you did make a choice, you have one more chance to review.
Absolutely, you do.
And then you brought up something very important. You mentioned the Medicare Savings Program. Gosh, that has helped just so many people in Connecticut.
Absolutely.
The ability to, and you can go into more detail than I can, but the concept of having extra help from the federal government and paying for your prescriptions, it's based on that's income and the qualifications for it. And again, more about your specific state than I do. But besides the fact that it can help your consumers pay for their prescription drugs, covering the copay and even qualifying them for assistance with their Part B deductible in certain cases, it also opens up another special election period. If somebody qualifies for extra help on their prescriptions, as I'm sure you know, Michael, they can actually use an extra election period. The government gives them an extra chance to change plans.
Right.
So one of the reasons why Michael, you know this, but I'm just going to speak to the generalities.
Oh, that's why you're on.
The Medicare market has changed from a once-a-year fast change, I have to do this all now, and now, Michael, and agencies like Regan Associates really are busy year-round. You have people who qualify so they can make a change at any time during the year. You have people who might be on Title 19. They can make a change any time during the year. You have 10,000 baby boomers a day turning 65. And that's a whole other topic of how we're going to help those people. They need information. They need to enroll in A and B. And when they do, they have a chance 3 months before, the month of, and 3 months after to choose an
initial coverage election period, people out there.
Yeah. We have people who are moving to a new city that create period if you're moving to a new area. And then we talk about baby boomers turning 65, and many of your listeners know this. We're not stopping work at 65 anymore. We're working till we're 67 or 68.
Right.
So as soon as you leave work, whatever time of year that is, that creates a special election.
Which is referred to as an SEP, and you get 63 days to secure from the date that you got your Part B and that you left your union or credible coverage employer plan. You'll be given 63 days as well to secure insurance.
And so the radio show that you're doing, the help that you're giving people, and the expertise that you've developed, which is fairly unique in Connecticut. There's a lot of people talking about Medicare, but you and your agency have really got it nailed down. This is something that comes up. This is a year-round. People need help with it. You listeners, please don't turn off and say, well, I got that done, and I don't have to think about it. I mean, certainly you don't have to think about it again if you're satisfied.
Right.
But there's a lot of opportunities. You may have friends or relatives who are in one of those other situations. They're getting extra help. They're leaving work. They're moving counties. All of those situations prompt a call to Regan & Associates because they can help advise you. Those people have choices.
Also, all right, give you and Mark a little plug now. It's your turn because my producer will have a YouTube page set up for you. Make sure you plug Garity Advantage with your website and your phone numbers, and we'll make sure you get on the YouTube page for the Medicare and You show. Please do.
Well, great. Okay, well, Garity Advantage is really a service agency to the professionals like Michael Regan who deal directly with the consumers. We provide some of the back office and a lot of the marketing support for agencies like Michael's. We are the largest Medicare writing agency in New England. We work with all of the major carriers. We're really a national organization, but our base is here in New England. We do more business in New England than pretty much anybody.
Nobody touches you.
Nobody touches us.
Nobody.
That's right. At least here locally, nobody touches us. And that local flavor is important. But again, we stay in the background. We, from a consumer standpoint, we're here to provide support and training and back office to make people like Michael, to help him do what he does, to help service. And he knows more about what's going on in his part of Connecticut than I ever will. And that's the beauty of it. You're dealing with a local expert. But thank you, Michael. I will take the compliment and take the plug because our website is www.GarityAdvantage.com. It's Garity with one R, and really we're an industry source for the people who really do the hard work of helping the client.
Right.
We're like the quiet company. We see the background.
Well, it's you actually do what you say as well. As I told you, I can't speak highly enough about your employees. My job's to write apps, submit paperwork. You scrub it and you make it shine and put a good coat of wax on it, and it gets done. And I must say, within 10 days, my clients have their card in the mail. We produce paper, but we do it well. And it's GARITY. Advantage, ADVANTAGE.com. Brian Garity, President and CEO. Please tell Mark thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. Have a great day. We had a very good talk. Thanks, Brian, very much.
Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure.
Eric.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye. All right, commercial break. I got you, Producer Tom. We're out. Talk to you in a few minutes.